Hello, in today's video we're going to be going over how to make Oliver Tree's track Miss You. This song blew up massively on TikTok and now has millions of views. From what I can tell, the song was originally made by Southstar and uploaded to Spotify and SoundCloud unofficially. He's lucky that it didn't get done for copyright, to be honest. However, as you see, the artist listed on the track is actually Schulz, even though Southstar says he had no place in making the track and actually stole it from him. Anyway, I don't really care about the politics of the track. Let's get into how it was made. If you want to download the full project, you can get it from my Patreon using the link in the description below. So before we start, I've got to say the track's got a SoundCloud type feel to it with fairly poor production techniques, but this actually adds to the character of the song and it's part of the reason it's blown up. People don't care how well a track is made, they just want to vibe and connect with it. So let's start with the piano. Great, so here are the piano notes. We're in the key of F sharp minor. So if you follow this up, just put in the notes of F sharp minor. All we've got is a fifth, and then that's just the root note but pitched up, and then a third. The rest of the notes, I'll zoom out, you can copy these if you want. All he's doing is basically building up the scale and just sort of putting the notes in as they sound good. There's not really a rhyme or reason to the rest of the notes. I've looked through them thoroughly. We've then got the piano sound, so it's coming from the Korg M1 piano. It's got quite a lot of reverb on it, and let's check the insert effects. So again, it's got some more room reverb. Check the master effects, again a little bit more reverb. We've then got this side chain to the kick, so this is just letting the kick punch through in the drop. It's quite subtle. We've then got this overdrive, really adding some grit and some character to the sort of mid to high sections. And most importantly, we've got this OTT, so without it, and with it, makes it sound a lot more toy-like and yeah, cheaper, higher pitched, not high pitched, more of the high frequencies dominating the track. We've then got this second layer. So this essentially, and if you listen to the original, there's a sort of noisy sine wave, or sorry, saw wave in the background. So I've got the exact same MIDI as the piano, and then I've got a sawtooth wave, and I've upped the unison, kept the detune quite high. I've then changed the envelope, and so that's the amp envelope, and I've given it a short decay time and sustain. So again, if you're in Serum, you can copy that. I then layered it with this noise. Could probably go a bit higher than we've got it, and turn it to note mode. So that means the noise is actually following the notes that we're using rather than just giving out a straight noise output. Lastly, we've got this weird sort of bell thing. Again, this just sits under the piano in this section. It's subtle, but it is there, and it's only really in this section. Again, we're taking out the low end, add a OTT, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so really simple. Most of the EQ has been done by this OTT. Taking out all the low end. We then move on to the pads. So they sound like this. I've done it in two sections. So on the group, just to let you know, I've got an OTT. Again, brightening it up and taking out some of the low end with an EQ. We've then got this pad, which is this random preset I found in Serum by Seven Skies. Never really heard of it, to be honest. Copying the same notes as the piano, but just elongated them, so they're legato rather than staccato. I think that's the way of saying it. So yeah, all this is basic pad. You could literally do it with anything. I've then got this vinyl effect to make it sound a little bit rougher around the edges. So you can hear that sort of making a bit grit and a bit dirt. You then got the second pad, which is a spacious choir preset. So if you just search that in up there, what synth is it? Analog. So again, this just adds to the high end, sort of like a choiry effect. But yeah, pretty simple. Again, this whole track is pretty simple, but it's just everything seems to fit nicely together, and yeah, it sits nicely underneath the vocal, which we'll get to last. Before that, we've got the kick and the bass together like this. So this is sort of like donk, which is like old 2000s caravan music, but it's pretty banging. It's making a bit of a comeback, especially in countries like Germany and yeah, sort of the party central hubs of Europe. So we've got this kick, basic kick. Yeah, and the bass. So every note you're missing, the kick would normally hit here, obviously. So we're doing often the offbeat. So again, just following the same progression as the piano, a nice basic simple progression. And for the bass, I have to excuse me, I'm having issues with Serum. And I've got a purchase version, so I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, so I've got this basic, and if you look at the amp, quite a long decay time, 1 second. And then also the second envelope, opening the filter slightly. Again, could open it more, but then it's getting a bit squelchy. We've then got a lot of distortion. That's really where the main bulk of the sound's coming from. So you could go ham with that, but kept it about 50%. We've then got this compressor. Sidechain to the kick. Oh, and there's so much distortion going on the low end, I've had to take it out at about 42 hertz. This also helps to add to like the sort of lo-fi, SoundCloudy sort of vibe, taking out all the beefy bass frequencies. Then OTT on the bass, which I've never done before. Again, just trying to give it some sort of back presence, sort of more presence in the mix, but also like, yeah, giving it its own like air and space. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a technique I recommend, to be honest, but it does actually sound quite good, so maybe I'm going to start doing that. We've then got this respace. So again, I have an issue with Serum. So, basically got a mini waveform. I think that's their saw. I mean, it's a bit misshapen in that, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, that's their saw wave, I'm pretty sure. I've then got a bit of an attack, giving it that sweep up effect. So yeah, that's coming from this envelope here, and also this envelope, which is opening the filter, but at an attack. Yeah. Again, distortion, giving it the bulk of its sound. Asium, my favourite algorithm that you can put in it. Yeah, pretty basic, but it works. The notes again are just following what the piano and the bass are following. Taking off some of the high end, easy as. That MIDI's doing nothing, we can delete that. Done the piano, done the pads. Let's move on to the rest of the drums. So you've got this clap, quite a basic clap. Got a small drum boss on it, distorting it slightly, can't really hear it to be honest. Then got these hats, 2 layers, one's pan to the left, so if you've got headphones on you'll be able to hear that. And that's just what they do in the original. Again, would I recommend doing that? Not really. Actually, I guess you can. I mean, I'll pan them equally, otherwise one side is going to be a bit more dodgy. But yeah, I guess you should pan your hats, but I don't know, pan them equally in my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, second hat, no effects on them, don't need them. These are from the Tech House pack, you can get that on my Patreon. Lastly, we've got the white noise riser. Again, this will also be available on my Patreon. If I haven't uploaded it already, please remind me. It's just like an effects pack that I've made. Just like easy transitions that you can use in your own tracks. Lastly, vocal. Yeah, that's just ripped straight from the original. So yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.